Liftoff will start in T-minus 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We have ignition.
It's time! 17 seconds from Game 7 or from championship number 6. Open! Chicago with the lead! Harper got a piece of it. It comes off. The Chicago Bulls have won their 6th NBA championship.
Tying run at second, 2 out. Palmero over the head of Jenks. Uribe charges, throws, out! And the White Sox have won the World Series.
To the far side around the 8-yard line to Hester. Under it and to the middle with the 15 to the 20, break 3 to the 25 to the 30 to the outside. 40, midfield, 40, 30 in the coast, 20, 15, Hester 5. Oh! Touchdown!
Toward Bryant. He will glove it in front of Rizzo. It's in time. And the Chicago Cubs win the World Series.
What up, what up, what up? Welcome to Shawn and Maya in the morning on this Hump Day edition. I'm your boy, the SuperBack, Shawn Sierra. As you can hear, I'm a little under the weather. I've got a little frog in my throat. Thanks for tuning in. If you're watching us on Facebook Live, then I guess you found us on Facebook. And if you're not following us on Facebook, come on, baby. Go to Facebook, type in Sports Zone Chicago. Click the like button. Now you're following Sports Zone Chicago. Simple. But wait, there's more. Go to the show's page. Go to Shawn and Maya in the morning. Like that page as well. So not only will you get Shawn and Maya in the morning, not only will you get Sports Zone Chicago, but you get Shawn and Maya in the morning as well. If you watch this on our YouTube channel, excellent. If you're not subscribed to our YouTube channel, for real, come on, man. Go to YouTube, type in Sports Zone Chicago, click the subscribe button. We'll also click the notification button. That's the little bell next to it. That'll let you know anytime a show for Sports Zone Chicago is going live. Get it? Got it? Good. Now, if you're watching this on our mobile app, please don't tell me you didn't know we had a mobile app. Come on, baby. What's wrong with you? All right. Keep up with the Joneses and them. Listen. Wherever you get your apps from, go there. It doesn't matter if it's iTunes or Google Play, Amazon, Walmart, Kmart, 7-Eleven, Zayre, Zemsky, Macy, Montgomery Ward, Woolworths, Weebles, Gold Blast. It doesn't matter. You go there, you type in Sports Zone Chicago, you download it. You take us with you on the go. So not only do you get Shawn and Maya in the morning 3 days a week, not only do you get our other live shows throughout the week, not only are they archived there like they are on Facebook and YouTube, but I'll tell you what, we give you a slew, and I mean a slew of articles, thanks to my man Clarence, Counsel III. Big up to Clarence for keeping you abreast of all articles Chicago sports related. Now, if you're watching this on a Roku channel, I like that kind of party, baby. If you don't know, you better ask somebody. Sports Zone Chicago, we have our own Roku channel. So if you have a Roku television in the house, do us this favor. Download Sports Zone Chicago's channel to your television. Okay, put us there next to the big boys: Netflix, Hulu, Apple, Prime, HBO Max, Disney Plus, Paramount Plus, Stars. Put them right there. Watch it on the big screen. How run the big screen, right, Mickey now. You can also tweet the show. Tweet us at Sports Zone Shy. That's CHI at Sports Zone Shy. Now, if you want to follow me, just me personally online. Want to know what I did? Let me tell you what I did. I made it nice and easy for you folks. Nice and easy. One handle for Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, and TikTok. All one handle at the Shawn Sierra. Man, we got a great show for you. But I need you to get interactive, man. Woo, chat is jumping. Leave a question or comment, whatever platform you're watching this on, whether it's Facebook, YouTube, or a mobile app. Leave a question or comment on that platform. It'll come up here in a thread. We'll put it up on the screen. We'll incorporate it into the show. And that, my peoples, is what makes this the best morning Chicago sports talk show around. And that's you. So bring them all, baby. Questions, comments, smart ass remarks, because ain't nobody scared over here. Like The Rock said, baby, don't sing it, just bring it. Let's check out the chat. Cornelius Swalls checking in early. What up, what up, what up, sports owners? Cornelius, thank you. Patty Lara's in the house. Says, what up, dear Shawn? Jeremiah says, hi, Jeremiah. That's what I'm talking about. But Sean Walls, happy hump day, peeps. That's what I'm talking about. My man, Armando Emeterio Lara Jr. is in the house. Junior, what's up, buddy? Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it. Black Diamond. Top of the morning. This feels weird. The Bears are functioning like a competent franchise. I'm saying. The hell's all that about? Levette Lee's checking in. Says happy hump day, y'all. Thank you for tuning in, Levette. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. She said, what's up, Shawn? Listen, I don't know a lot about a lot, but I do know this. More of the usual suspects will chime in as the show goes on. That, my peoples, I can promise you. I don't know a lot about a lot, but I do know this. More of the usual suspects will chime in as the show goes on. That I can tell you. Let's see. There we go. Just doing something real quick. We got a great show for you, man. My man Rick Gonzalez checking in. Good morning, Papa. He says, good morning, boys and girls. King Book of World checking in. What's up, Papa? How are you? Thank you for tuning in. Excuse me, folks. Let's see. Let's check it out. At 9:30, we're gonna see. I had Adam Chalifoux. Actually, he's good. He's coming on. He had something from his 9 to 5 gig, but he's good to go. Yeah. So 9:30 at the bottom of the hour, Adam Chalifoux is going to come out. We're going to talk a little Bulls basketball. The Bulls are playing really, really good basketball right now. They seem to have found a rhythm, a comfort zone. Okay. Josh Giddey leading the way, and I like it. I like it a lot. So 9:30, Adam Chalifoux is going to join us. At 10 o'clock, my man Zack Pearson from BearReport.com is going to join us. We're going to talk Bears. All the craziness in the NFL, especially with the Bears that went on yesterday. Craziness that went on yesterday. Yeah. It was nutso. Crazy. What am I dropping? I'm dropping craziness over here. You know what, Levette? I do need some tea. That's for sure. I just didn't have time to make it this morning. I was running late, woke up late. I didn't have CrossFit this morning, so that's crazy. Junior says coffee and concha. So what's for breakfast? Very nice. Very nice. Very, very nice. For those of you who don't know, concha is a Mexican pastry. It looks like a seashell. If you ever saw Lord of the Flies, and they hold the conch, the concha. It's like a seashell. Shape looks like a seashell. See, Spanish, Latin. If you know Latin, if you know Latin, you will have expanded your vocabulary by about 3,000 words. So, yeah. But anyway, so yeah, we got a good show. I'm fired up, man. It's gonna be one. It's gonna be fun. I'm gonna fight through this. Fight through this nonsense. This little frog I have in my throat. I definitely got to fight through this. But, I'll do it. No big deal. It's just no problem. Tomorrow. Oh. Good. Sorry. Like I said, I woke up late, was running, ripping and running. Crazy. But I'm excited for what the Bears have done. I'm excited to see what else they do. And it looks like there's good. So now there's no more excuses. So I had a debate online. And sometimes I do it just for shits and giggles. All right. And a lot of times I do it to call out the hypocrisy of people. Bullshit of people. All right. And some guy, and it's amazing how people just feel the need to call people names. I don't know if you're mad at him, but you're gonna call me a loser or a clown. Like, come on, man. You know what I mean? Like, it's because and here's the thing, because we have different views. That's the thing that bothers. That's the thing that because there was a clip on, it was from ESPN 1000, and they were talking about, it was Cap and Hood, excuse me. And Jason Hood was saying, well, you know, Caleb had a lot to deal with, and you know, he said he talked to Chris Canty on ESPN, one of the main the national guys on ESPN, and he said all he can see is, you know, Jaden Daniels is doing better, but blah 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 blah. He goes, we tell him, you know, what happened. He goes, and he says excuses. They're just excuses. And Kaplan jumps in and says, yeah, that's the reality. And I said, well, it's excuses. I said, those are football reasons, according to you, for a guy that you have an agenda that you want to push, but for the previous guy, they're excuses. For this guy that you want, there are reasons. For the other guy, they're excuses. And this dude kept going on, and it was interesting. And just, you know, it just bugs me. It annoys me, annoys me. You know, when the narrative fits or when the idea fits your narrative, how easily things change. How quickly things change. Okay, and then we were going back and forth about just nonsense and whatever, you know, and it's just don't sit there and say you don't have a narrative. Don't sit there and just be two-faced. Bottom line, right? When it affects you, when it's positively affects you, it's okay. But when it's not, and when it doesn't, then it's not. So it's just frustrating. I was a little frustrated with some Jamoke, and Rick, that's exactly what I'm saying. They would not say that shit to your face. I'm telling you, isn't it like it's like the commercial we play at one of the commercial breaks? One of the commercials we play at one of the PSAs. You know, it was like, Wendy, you're such a tramp. And she goes off, you know, on it. She goes, and your mom's a, you know, such, you know, a guy said you made out and whatever. And it was funny. But I said, don't say online what you wouldn't say in person, basically. You know? So, Rick, why can't Caleb and Jaden be good? They can be good. They can be great. They can be great. They can be great. They can be great. That's the whole thing. They can be great. My nephew, Mondo, says, be a yuppie and go get a medicine ball from Starbucks. Sorry, I don't feel like taking out a freaking mortgage for a... We'll see. I'll do something. I'll do something in the on the break and see. Go get some tea. But anyway, hey, let's get right to it. because at the bottom of the hour, my man Adam Chalifoux is going to join us talking Bulls. So, guys, you know how we do. The first segment of every show is called Top of the Morning.
It won't come just when you want it.
Top of the morning to you. Top of the morning to you. Top of the morning to you.
Let's see, baby. The first top of the morning topic. Which way do we go? Which way do we go? Which way do we go? We'll go back to Monday. That's what I'm talking about. Monday, bloody Monday. Man, the Bulls. Bulls with a big win. 121-103 over the Indiana Pacers on the west side. Josh Giddey, he led the way, 29 points, 10 rebounds. Kobe White, 29 points, 7 rebounds himself. Buter, the guy we just got over from the trade, he contributed 13 points in the win. Tell you, this Bulls team is freaking exciting as all get out. All right, and don't forget at the bottom of the hour, we're gonna talk to Adam Chalifoux about them boys. Staying with the Bulls, next top of the morning topic tomorrow. The Bulls host the Brooklyn Nets at the UC. Tip-off is at 7 p.m. Central. You can catch that game on Chicago Sports Net or listen to it on their flagship station, 670 a.m. Next top of the morning topic, the Blackhawks, baby. Blackhawks fall to the Colorado Avalanche 3-0. It was tied after 2. It was zip after 2, and then Colorado exploded in the third for 3. Knight, their new goalie, he stopped 18 of 20 shots. Staying with the Hawks, the next top tomorrow, the Blackhawks travel to San Jose to face the Sharks. Puck drop is at 9:30 Central. Remember, they're on the left coast, so it's 7 o'clock. 7:30 is there. It's 9:30 here. So 9:30 Central. You can catch that game on Chicago Sports Net Plus or listen to it on their flagship station, 7:20 a.m. The next top of the morning topic, all right, you busters. Cubs. The Cubs fall to the Brewers 9-7 yesterday. Justin Steele, he pitched. He got the loss. He's 1-1 in the spring. 3 2/3, 10 hits. He got racked. 7 earned runs, no walks, 3 punch-outs. Michael Busch was 1 for 3, driving in his 11th RBI of the season. Matt Shaw, coming back from that oblique injury, he was 1 for 2 with a double, driving in his 4th RBI of the season. And Birdie was 1 for 1 with his 3rd RBI. Dansby Swanson, 1 for 3 with a double, his 3rd of the spring. That was the last game before the Cubs travel to Tokyo to face the Dodgers to start the season. The next top of the morning topic, let's see which way we go. My White Sox. Whew, that's a tough one. Yeah, that's a tough one. White Sox fall to the Padres 7-5. Cannon got the start. James Cannon got the start for the Sox. He got a no decision, 3 innings, 8 hits, 4 earned runs, no walks, 2 punch-outs. Bergoglio was 1 for 1 with a double, his 2nd of the spring, driving in his 4th and 5th runs of the year. Ramos was 1 for 1 with an RBI, his 1st of the spring. Mitchell was 1 for 3, driving in his 2nd RBI of the season. And Dominic Fletcher had an RBI on the day. That's his 4th of the spring. Staying with the Sox today, the White Sox host the California Angels, or the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, whatever you want to call them, whatever they call themselves nowadays. They host them at Camelback Ranch. First pitch is at 3:05 p.m. Central Time. You can catch that game on their flagship station, ESPN 1000. Now, the next top of the morning topic, man, oh man, oh man, did the Bears make a huge splash in free agency? Let me tell you something. This was impressive what Ryan Poles did. I think he understands his ass is on the line, and he's got to make some moves. Huge splash in free agency. We'll start with this one. Drew Dahlman, Bears, and Drew Dahlman agreed because those contracts could not be signed until today. They'll be signed today. The new league year starts today. So the Bears in the center, Drew Dahlman, agreed to a 3-year, $42 million deal with $28 million guaranteed. $28 million guaranteed. They got the center that they wanted. They've revamped their entire interior offensive line. Trading for 2 guards, Jonah Jackson and Tooney. And now you got the center to go with it. Their next. This is the one I really liked. This is the one I really, really liked. The Bears in defensive tackle Grady Jarrett agreed to a 3-year, $43.5 million deal with $28.5 million guaranteed. He spent his entire 10-year career in Atlanta. This dude reminds me a lot of John Randall. For those of you who remember, he reminds me a lot of John Randall. This dude does not stop. Violent hands, quick, a great get off. Ability, and here's one thing: his ability to get skinny quick, and a lot of that has to do with his takeoff. He takes off, wipe your hand, knock your hands down, turn them shoulders quick, fast, in a hurry, turn, rip. My goodness, this dude, I love. Man, he was always a pain in our ass. I'm glad we got him now. Now we have our 3-tech. You put this guy. Imagine this: Grady Jarrett and Billings in the interior of our defensive line. Montez Sweat on the left. And the other side, we decided to help him too. Deo Obayingo. Obayingdo. Deo Obayingdo. My goodness, pardon me. He's an edge rusher. From the Colts, we signed him with a 3-year, $48 million deal with $32 million guaranteed. Now we've revamped our entire offensive line. We've revamped our entire defensive line. There's a lot that I am looking forward to moving forward this year for the Bears. So we're going to talk about that at 10 o'clock with my man Zack Pearson and them. All right. But what we're going to do right here, we're going to take a quick break. On the other side of the break, we're going to welcome my man Adam Chalifoux, coming to us from the road. He's on the road again. Coming to us from on the road. We're going to talk a little Bulls basketball. The Bulls are playing some special kind of basketball right now, and I kind of like it. Kind of. All right, so don't go anywhere, folks. Keep it locked right here. Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago.
Many will hear the calling. Few will earn the title. United States Marine. The few, the proud, the Marines.
Hey, it's your boy, the SuperBack, Shawn Sierra, and be sure to follow Sports Zone Chicago on all social media platforms, on Facebook, Instagram, and our Roku channel. You can find us at Sports Zone Chicago, and on Twitter, we are at Sports Zone Shy. Also, be sure to download our mobile app so you can take Sports Zone Chicago with you on the go.
How do you take care of your mind health?
For my mental health, I meditate in the mornings.
I have my dogs. They're the best.
I just find ways that help me just relax.
Finding things that make me happy, like being close to my family.
I meditate a lot and read books.
I have hobbies outside of the game. I'm able to switch off. I'm able to turn my brain off from the game of basketball.
Your mind health matters.
Your mind health matters.
We are looking for a few heroes, mentors, trailblazers, innovators. a passion to change lives. Spark curiosity, open hearts, and awaken minds. Help students answer the question, who am I? This could be your calling, but this is no job. It's the journey of a lifetime. Be a hero. Be a teacher.
Mental health and learning disorders don't discriminate. 17 million children and adolescents in the United States live with disorders like anxiety, depression, ADHD, and dyslexia. Less than half get the help they need to thrive. Help the Child Mind Institute change these children's lives. Visit childmind.org.
Pacers really struggled on defense early, but Miles Turner said he's starting to just put more effort in. Speaking of defense,
Windex man.
Shepard on the side of the backboard, long rebound to White. Kobe into Siakam, and one.
That's a good attack right there for Kobe White.
White, a lot of dribbling, can't get free from Nembhard, draws the foul.
Oh, three the hard way.
Working against Neesmith, good defense by Aaron there. Here's Herter, a three. Good!
Bang, bang, bang.
And it is Shepard. That's off target. Pacers have methodically worked themselves back into this ball game. Buzelis!
Little dump kick. That's a good find by Kobe White.
Welcome back to Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago. Those clips courtesy of Chicago Sports Net. Those are the boys, man. Them boys. We them boys. I was fired up about the way that our Bulls are playing. They're playing really good basketball, team basketball. I really love it. I like the, it just seems like they're really, really buying into Billy. Seems like they're having fun out there. Seems like they're playing free. And I like it. I like it. And it's insane. That our Bulls are playing this free. Now give us one more super talented guy. Excuse me. One more super talented guy. Because I don't care what any of you say. And it's really funny is when Kendall Gill said it on a post game, one of the post games. He was like, "We got our Cooper flag." And some people, and I mentioned to some people, and they looked at me crazy. And I said, "Wait a minute." I'm like, Cooper Flag is doing what he's doing up against college kids. All right, guys who'll never who probably won't be in the NBA. Matas Buzelis is doing it in the NBA against guys who are in the NBA. We don't have to worry about what Matas is. We can only hope where he can go, because the ceiling for him is super duper duper high. But enough Bulls talk by me. Solo Bulls talk by me. We're going to bring in my guest. My next guest is a good friend of the program. He's driving, making deliveries. I don't know what he's doing. He's heading home, I think. He is the host of the Running with the Bulls podcast. You can find him on Twitter at Fargo Faux. F-O-U-X. Fargo Foo. Guys, just welcome back to Shawn and Maya, Adam Chalifoux. Adam, what's up, Papa? How are you?
Oh, just on my way to get a nice medicine ball from Starbucks. Yeah. No, just taking a little break. I'm happy to be talking some Bulls with you guys. Always a pleasure. Been way too long, and it's a fun time to be talking Bulls.
It really is. And as I was saying, the Bulls are a fun team. They're winning now. All right. And contrary to the popular belief, like, okay, we should lose the tank for Cooper Flag. Okay, great. But you know what? The bottom line is you still want to win. And tanking doesn't build confidence. Winning does. And I like the fact that and if you lose and you're trying, fine. But they're not losing. They're winning with Billy and these youngsters. Talk about of these guys, and in particular, the guy that I did not like at all, Adam. I did not like him at all, and I mean crow fried hard with some extra mild sauce. Josh Giddey. I did not like his game. He was a little. He reminded me of Sunshine from Remember the Titans, little long hair, little Australian, little sissy looking type of dude. Complained all the time. Every time he didn't get a call, and he was like, you know what? Hold my beer. And we just flirt with a triple double every single game. Talk to me about those guys, especially Josh Giddey.
Yeah, I love what you're saying about not trying to lose. I think it's one thing if you lose in fair nature. Like if you lose, you lose. But like you should never intentionally lose because it's really bad for culture, especially when you got a team of young guys. You saw what the Philadelphia 76ers were like, oh, trust the process, trust the process. The process was a lie. Where did that get them? You never want to lose. And this isn't just about sports. This is about integrity. This is about life. You have to go out there and you got to give it your all. Now, that being said, within the realm of the NBA, there are different layers of priority, let's call it, all right? And for the top priority for the Chicago Bulls right now, it has to be thinking about developing the young talent they have on their team. And they have done an excellent job at doing that post-trade deadline because they got some of those pieces out of the way. I don't think they got all the pieces out of the way, and I can touch on that too. But they gave the keys to Josh Giddey. Now, Shawn, we've been doing this a while. You know how I do. I keep it real. I admit when I'm wrong, and I love being right. And I was right about Giddey because here's the deal. They traded. People like, oh, they lost the trade. It's not that black and white, my man. Yeah. Alex Caruso is a perfect fit for the Oklahoma City Thunder right now and what they needed and what stopped them from going as far as they wanted to last year. This is a team that could win a championship this year. Caruso, I believe 31, 32 years old. Like he helps them now. If you take Alex Caruso and you replace Keith Bogans with him in 2011, the Bulls win a championship. But where the Bulls are now, Caruso didn't make sense. Giddey did. So here's the thing about Josh Giddey. We go back to the time of that trade. He's got some bad press. He had the weird situation on the Snapchat. We know what happened there. And he started to get some put in a bad light about that. Nothing ever came of it. And so I think it's fair to just like live and let live at this point. I don't want to get into all that. But from a basketball standpoint, people started to talk about him like he wasn't a good basketball player. And people talked about, oh, well, they sagged off him from the 3-point line. Well, when you're that young, it's okay to not have, look at Jason Kidd. He's actually one of the all-time leaders in 3-point field goals. He didn't start as a great shooter, but he started as a really, really good point guard. Jason Kidd was never a shooting guard. Josh Giddey was never a shooting guard, but he got forced to play shooting guard, and it tanked his value. The Bulls benefited by that because they traded for Giddey when his value wasn't that high. The Bulls, they did win that trade. OKC also won that trade. They both got what they needed. But now that Zach LaVine is gone, it allows Josh Giddey to become the nucleus, which is who he is as a player. Kobe White has always been more of a shooting guard. For a while, it was like my turn, your turn. But Josh Giddey is so clearly the center of the offensive universe when he's on the floor for the Chicago Bulls. And that's what's made him special. That's what had international teams in the Olympics having fits because they couldn't contain this guy. Josh Giddey has a
contain him.
Right. And here's the thing is this dude's 6'8". So you got a 6'8", 22-year-old point guard. And, like this guy's the Australian Magic Johnson lately. He's getting a triple-double just about every night, or he's flirting with one. His numbers, he's averaging 11 more points per game since the All-Star break. This is a guy who really was like, you'd see glimpses of, okay, maybe they're going to use him, but they're finally letting him be Josh Giddey, and we're seeing what happens. And I think a lot of that, you talked about, the young team playing together, playing team basketball. They got rid of some of the ball stoppers. And I think Zach LaVine, I'm happy for him. He's balling out in Sacramento. But there were just too many cooks in the kitchen, and the Bulls want to play with pace. And so you got to have Giddey kind of running the show there, and you got to give him a lot of credit. You also got to give some of the complementary pieces around him credit because they make each other good. And so it all comes down to the complementary pieces. Zach Collins is a guy who he should have stayed.
Holy
cow. Dude, here's the deal. Here's the deal with Zach Collins. There's a lot of this happens with big men. And if you're a big man listening, you should probably listen to me because I'm 5'9" and I know what it's like. No, I don't. So maybe you don't listen to me. But in my opinion, in my uneducated opinion on big men, I've just been watching the game a long time, and I see these guys come out a little too soon. And Collins was really good at Gonzaga, but he was a lottery pick. He went early in the draft, but he probably could have stayed a little longer in college, and he probably could have come into the NBA more ready. He didn't make the impact that was anticipated right off the front end of his career, and people started to change the way we talked about him. But we saw when Wembanyama was out for the San Antonio Spurs, however, was that Zach Collins was a guy who could walk into a double-double on a nightly basis if given the opportunity. It's going to be interesting to see if he's going to be the starting center for the rest of the season or if they're going to let Vucevic take that role back when he is fully recovered from, I believe it was a hamstring or a quad injury. I hope personally that they go with Collins because he has better feet. He is a very good passer, and he's similar to Vucevic as a three-point shooter.
Bro. He's a younger Vooch.
Yeah, he's a better defender than Vooch, and he's got better feet than Vooch. And like Vucevic, some of his offensive footwork, it's technician-like. He's extremely efficient down there, and I think that he's got a lot he could learn from Vucevic. But the fact of the matter, I believe he's 27 years old, Zach Collins. Like, the Bulls have players who make more sense to whatever their window winds up looking like when you start to shift away from, like, Vucevic is very much in the minority now. Like, DeRozan's gone, LaVine is gone. These are guys who are early to mid-20s who are still on the up. And it gives the Bulls a very interesting opportunity now to actually get better sooner than they realized. And right now, you got a team that just won 3 in a row against teams ahead of them in the Eastern Conference. They're kind of locked into that play-in, which would have had me pulling my hair out a few weeks ago. But they own that pick now. San Antonio doesn't have that pick anymore, and that changes the conversation around what do we want this team to do now. Because for all the people saying, like, tank for Cooper Flag, what's the big difference going to be between, I don't know, like, pick 10 and pick 16? Is it going to be earth-shattering? If you're picking number 1, that's one thing, but you really got to suck to do that. The Bulls, a lot of things I've heard as far as the Giddey trade way back when was, they didn't get a first-round pick. The guy's 21 when you traded for him.
Yeah.
That is a first-round pick. And he's proven.
He's playing like it, too.
And who would you rather have? Tyrus Thomas, Marcus Fizer? We've seen early first-round picks go wrong. This is a dude who can play. This is a dude who's proven he can play. He just got his role changed. And it's important to consider the context within what happened to him in OKC. Because SGA, he might be the MVP of the year. And it's okay. Josh Giddey's not the best point guard when he was in OKC. He's the best point guard on the Bulls. And the Bulls are saying, hey, Josh, go be Josh. And we're seeing what that can be. But we can't hold it against him that he was played out of position in Oklahoma City. At the end of the day, the Bulls got a dude who's young enough to be a first-round pick, but instead of going in with, hey, this guy should be really good, it's this guy is really good. And if he's used the right way, he can be great. And so when we look at the big picture, what's Josh Giddey going to look like when he's 27? with a more developed physically Matas Buzelis.
That's
And
5 years from now, dude. You realize that's 5 years, 5 seasons from now. He's going to be 27. How much greater is this kid going to be once he gets a little muscle, once he gets toned, once he gets stronger?
What's he going to
get comfortable?
And what are those guys going to look like in 3 years? Because Kobe White's balling. Yeah. You know, like you removed Zach LaVine and it allowed for the growth because Kobe White's on fire. Josh Giddey's on fire. And those are complementary pieces because the defense, what the defense has to do to try to slow down Giddey opens up opportunities for White.
Yeah.
And then you throw in a guy, and I don't think the Bulls are done long term. I think eventually we're going to see a versatile big man that fits the vision a little bit better. But you can see Zach Collins bring in elements of what they can do in the high post, what they can do on the high screen, on the pick and pop, the pick and fade, and what secondary offense that can open up by all of a sudden you see backdoor cuts, you see things going on the outside of the wings, and you're having guys who can be secondary playmakers. You have a lot of guys who can dish it, and it's important to have a good passing center, in my opinion, for a team that wants to play the way the Bulls want to play. And a lot of that's ball movement. But you're seeing that now with what Collins is able to do in the high post and how that's opening up the other pieces. And so the Bulls, like on paper, maybe they got a little worse after the trade because they got rid of Zach LaVine, who I'll call a B plus player. But the accumulative GPA of the class has gotten higher because they have more good pieces, they have more functional depth, and it makes more basketball sense by allowing them to play this kind of basketball that has proven to be effective for them, which is taking a lot of threes, playing really fast, and keeping the defense on their heels for the full 48 minutes. And you see what happened against Indiana. And that's a great win because Indiana, I've been talking to you for like 2 years about Bulls got to look at Indiana. Bulls got to look at Indiana and what they were doing route. The Bulls don't have their Pascal Siakam. Maybe they do. Maybe that could be Matas Buzelis. Let's be real. But they're able to, Indiana's a little further along in like what they want to do, but you can kind of see things starting to come together. And the Bulls just beat Indiana at their own game. Like the Pacers haven't always put the pace in Pacers, but they do in this current regime. You know, they're an excellent coach ball club, and so are the Bulls. Like you're starting to see things kind of work where they can beat a team who wants to play fast, and they got enough stops on defense, and they're still a pretty bad defensive team. I'd like to see that improve, but they have an identity, and it's working, and it's time to give flowers to Josh Giddey. And some people, sounds like you maybe, Shawn, got to write him an apology letter because this guy was getting slandered.
I was all against Josh Giddey. I was not a big fan of Sunshine. I was like, Sunshine.
Yeah.
Not a big fan of him at all. I hated his whining every time he didn't get a call. And I, like many people, forgot he was 22.
Mm-hmm.
22 years old. He's literally fresh out of college, what he would be, but he's got time in the league, and he needed time to adjust to his teammates. He needed time to adjust without having a big score like Zach LaVine. He needed time. Okay, who can I get to? Who am I gonna look for? Who's gonna be my trailer? Who do I know is gonna be here when I'm running a break? Who do I know is gonna pop in the corner? So he had the skill set of his teammates, so he knew how to make them. How the hell do you think he gets out damn near 10 assists a game? Because he understands what his teammates can do, and he puts them in position to do what they do best. And that's what I love about him. And again, I'm first in line in the Josh Giddey apology line, and that's me because I was all over him, did not like him, and he's like, "Here, hold my beer. I got something to show you, Shawn." And he showed me something big time, and I guess I can't wait till he gets stronger. I can't wait till he gets a little more experience, and not that he doesn't have experience. I just want more experience when he hits his prime. One of the questions I wanted to ask you: you talked about Zach Collins going to Gonzaga on a lottery pick. Do you think it would behoove young men, or will now, due to the transfer portal and NIL, if they stay in college a little longer, 2 to 3 years, so when they come out, they actually are fundamentally sound? because we're dealing with kids who go to AAU on a high school team. They're usually not asking you to play defense on your high school team because you're the best guy on the team. AAU defense is frowned upon. You go to 1 year, you can't really instill all the defensive nuances in 1 year wherever you're at. Do you think that it'll behoove players to stay longer to get fundamentally sound when you come in the league? You don't, because there's no time to train you. There's no time to work to develop you in the league. It's tough. No practice times. So give me your thoughts on you think players may stay a little longer thanks to the NIL.
I think it depends on the player. I think it depends on how much money they're making, how much potential they see to make, and having the right people in their corner. A really good example I can tell you firsthand about is Grant Nelson, who we remember being a monster in the NCAA tournament for Alabama. So Grant Nelson transferred out of North Dakota State University. I covered him for 2 years up here in Fargo, and I was like, this kid's really special. And a lot of and this is what you got to understand is like, what's the noise around this player? So the noise around Zach, excuse me, not Zach, but Grant Nelson in Fargo was, oh, this guy's going to be a late round pick in the NBA draft. And I'm a guy who's covered Pac-12. I'm a guy who's covered Big East college basketball. And I looked at some of my peers. I'm like, bro, you just haven't covered it like I have, because he's not ready. He's not ready. And it's one thing if you're the best player in like the Mountain West, or you're the best player, whatever, in some mid-major conference. And he got an opportunity to go to an SEC school. And I believe Coach Oakes is the guy at Alabama. He's done a really nice job, but he's still getting to the point where he's facing tougher competition. And you're seeing that more and more. It's really changed the way mid-major guys are moving. A guy who just entered the transfer portal yesterday is Trayson Eaglestaff out of University of North Dakota. He dropped 40 on Alabama earlier this season, and he dropped 51 on South Dakota State last week. So this guy, elite sharpshooter, I'm not going to go down the rabbit hole on him, but you're seeing these guys kind of prove it at mid-major programs, and it makes you wonder what would happen to a guy like Gordon Hayward when Butler really, because Gordon Hayward helped establish Butler, but Butler wasn't respected the way that they are now prior to Gordon Hayward. But if you go back and you ask yourself, okay, well, like, how would the Gordon Hayward trajectory pan out? Maybe Gordon Hayward's at Duke. You know what I mean? After a few years at Butler. And so I think you're seeing people use the transfer portal to up their stock. But I think when you look at the guys who are there for a year to now get a bag, an NIL, and then get a bigger bag in the NBA, it just has to be case by case. I don't think there's a culture that necessarily points in one direction as far as like the college basketball players as a whole. But I think you're seeing different trends operating for different demographics, if you will, simultaneously. And so I do think that the one and done guys, the smart ones, they should stay. And we'll see if they have the right people in their corner to say, hey, dude, you just had a great season, but like, are you ready for Nikola Jokic? Maybe we can work with you another year. And those guys can be smart about that. Like Cooper Flagg, he's league ready, but I think that we see so many big men fail at the next level, or it takes them so long to get good that their opportunity kind of passes them by. And I think that people are like, so many of the top picks are like 19 now. And I think it makes it a little scarier for someone who's entering a sophomore or a junior season. And they're like, oh, is this actually going to hurt my value? But I would advise someone to consider how ready are you to be in the league. Because
you're
like
dealing with grown-ass men in the league. You're not dealing with
exactly
with walk-ons and freshmen and sophomore and junior. And that's why when guys come in at 19, they struggle because you're physically not able to handle and deal with people in the league. These guys have been there 4, 6, 8, 10 years. These are some strong-ass dudes. These are some strong-ass dudes. Your body just, your body just hasn't been able to grow. It's just
Matas Buzelis is a great example of that. He struggled. Yes. He struggled a lot at the beginning of the year, and he was a G League guy. And he played against grown men because he was in the G League, and it's a lot of guys. I mean, you have your occasional, Isaiah Thomas or whatever, someone who's like trying to get back into the league. You have some of those guys, but by and large, that's a lot of guys in their early 20s who are trying to get their shot into the NBA. But Matas struggled with the physicality, and I think that like you have so many different systems and a lot of pro system type styles in college basketball. But what is going to most prepare you? And so it comes back to like the Trace Neagle staff and the kid at Alabama now, Grant Nelson, where it is worth considering like, if I transfer, is it going to help me become more ready for the NBA? Like Grant, he declared for the draft, and similarly, and I'm glad that the NBA has these rules in place. Similarly, Eagle staff, he's going to declare to the draft, but he doesn't have to enter the draft necessarily. He can go back. He still maintains his eligibility, which I love that because it provides these young men more flexibility where you might not make a decision that could frankly ruin the trajectory of your life, because what happens, you think you got all your yes men around you saying, oh yeah, bro, you're going number 21.
You're a stud.
Oh yeah. And then give me some money for my medicine ball from Starbucks, and they say, all the right things to this dude. And this guy's, oh yeah, because that's the world he lives in. Yeah, but the reality check is then you don't get picked and the second round goes by and you're over there pouting like you're Johnny Manziel. Come take me, bro. And no one wants to take you because you're not ready. And so you have to challenge yourself if you're a young athlete to not just listen to your inner circle and challenge yourself to hear the things you don't want to hear. And so, because like at the end of the day, those NBA scouts, man, they're looking for someone who they can develop, but they don't want a project.
Yeah,
and so like what can you do? Be ready.
The floor. They're looking for a guy with a floor at a certain level that they can build.
You got to have a foundation to build on. Exactly.
Right. And that's why I asked the question. I think a lot of AAU coaches and high school coaches would do a great service to their players. They say, hey, listen, make sure you stay at least 2 years. All right. Get fun. If you had to say 3, then 3. You're getting getting the bag. You're getting some money. You're getting this. You know what I mean. So you're not hurting. And if you got to take care of moms, you got money to break off moms and whatever, get her out of whatever situation she's in. All right. But you need the fundamentals because what that does when you go in fundamentally sound, that puts years on the end of your career.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're fundamentally sound. You get a guy who's fundamentally sound, good footwork, good help defense, good boxing out, good rebounder, all these little things that people don't think are important that he was taught and instilled and drilled into in college. People get a guy who's fundamentally sound, who's a journeyman, and you can last in the league for 8, 10, 12 years.
And you can look at like the
salaries in the NBA ain't cheap, even if you are a journeyman.
And I'm gonna bring up one more guy, and then I know you got some Bears talk coming up. But a guy I want the Bulls to target in the offseason is Bol. That's another guy who he should have stayed a little bit longer at Oregon, and now he's at Phoenix, and he's in this weird cycle. If you go take a look at his game logs, he's in this weird pattern where he gets an opportunity, he balls out. He'll get like 4 blocks, 12 rebounds, 16 points, whatever. He can hit threes. He's got a tough mid-range jumper. He gets a little bit of minutes. He gets lazy on defense. He gets banished to the bench. He doesn't play. he gets an opportunity. He has a really nice game. He gets some minutes. He doesn't play defense. He gets banished to the bench. And the cycle has repeated itself now for weeks. You look at a guy like Bol, and he was hurt a lot of his time when he was at Oregon. And I think he only did 1 year. Almost positive he only did 1 year at Oregon. And he was a guy who's like, oh, this guy might be the best guy in the draft class when we were talking about him like going into his freshman year at Oregon. And he showed flashes of brilliance, and he's showed some of those flashes of brilliance in the NBA. But it does that hurt him because he didn't come in polished enough to be productive. And then people start talking about him similarly to the way they talk about like Zach Collins, like, oh, well, he's just a bust. No, he's not a bust. He's just unfinished product. There's more nuance to it than that. But I think where you look at Bol, if you're the Chicago Bulls, is you want to look at him and say, okay, we got to work with this guy. We got to help him get more consistent, but he helps us become a better shot blocking team, which is going to help our transition game. He has the ability to be a good passer. He's a good shooter. He's near impossible because he's 7'3" to guard in the mid range. And this is a guy we can run at the 4 or the 5, and is going to be complementary to a guy like Josh Giddey, Kobe White, etc. As the team looks to become more long and athletic, but continue to implement the style of play that is where pace is most important. So you got to look at guys who can kind of fit into that, but take advantage of another team's impatience. That's what we did with Collins. It's working. That's what we did with Giddey. It's working. And so, don't go get Jahlil Okafor because he is a bust. But go get someone who fits and someone you can say, hey, I see an opportunity to grow. Let's get you in the gym. Let's get you in the weight room, and let's work on being a little bit more consistent on defense. And it doesn't have to work overnight, but when you start to think about, is Josh Giddey is the true nucleus of this team, and I think being a point guard of that ability, it's fair to consider a reality that he could be the main building piece. And you start to think about, okay, well, when Josh is 25, where do we want to be? And then you can consider a guy like Bol, another guy. Check out Santi Aldama, who's a restricted free agent for Memphis. But I'm talking about big men. I said they're not done with the big men. Big men who can shoot the three, who can dribble the basketball, who can play versatile. And I don't think you need to go completely positionless because you have such a great facilitating point guard. But everybody on that Bulls team needs to be able to move the ball for them to maintain the identity that's been working for them in this little win streak, in this little hot streak they've been working with. But, yeah, Shawn, I just think that, be ready. Don't hurt your stock. To tie it all back to answer your question, don't be overzealous. Be real with yourself about, am I truly ready for the NBA? Go do your workouts. Go play against some of those NBA dudes. And if you aren't ready, then go get your education, man. Go get tons of ass and have an awesome time in college. Let's be real, dude. You got it made, and now you're getting paid. How crazy do you got to be? If I'm looking at I made crap out of college, man. My first job, I was making $10.50 an hour, and I was a sports anchor in Montana. And that's the reality for a lot of dudes who chase their dreams. For these college athletes, you got to make 6 figures. You look at the house Travis Hunter lived in. He's got a mansion in Boulder, Colorado. Why would you go pro? I know that's different. That's football. But if you are able to live on your own and you're 20 years old and you're financially independent, then, hey, Mom, I'll get you that house when I'm 24. Here's a few Benjamins to hold you over for now. Do what you got to do, but you got to consider your development and make sure you're ready, because the NBA is not a patient league. They want you to be good enough now. And you look at a guy like Bol. I just talked about how he could really fit for the Bulls. He could also be out of the league. Yeah. That's the reality of the situation, because
Adam,
people are not patient.
I got to run. I appreciate the time, but do me a favor. Let everyone know before you go. Let everyone know they can find you and your work online.
Running with the Bulls podcast. We're on Spotify. We're on Apple, wherever you listen. We're back. We're having a great season in the rebound year. Appreciate all the listens. If you like it, tell a friend to tell a friend. Share it. And thank you. You can follow me on Twitter at FargoFoo. That's Fargo and then FOUX. Thanks, Shawn. Appreciate you having me on.
Great stuff, buddy. We'll talk soon.
Sounds good.
All righty. Guys, that's Adam Chalifoux up in Fargo, North Dakota. Man, talking Bulls basketball. Crazy, crazy, crazy. I'm telling you, I'm Josh Giddey. I was wrong. I was wrong. I have no qualms, no excuses, no nothing. I was wrong. You proved me wrong. You're playing like a freaking stud, flirting with a God blessed triple-double every night. What the hell is that? I love it. I love it. But listen, let's take a quick break. Won't be too long. On the other side of the break, we're going to talk to my man, Zack Pearson, about some the Bears made some moves yesterday or Monday. Is it Monday? Yeah, Monday. Bears made some moves the other day. We were all excited, happy when the league period began. And how happy are you? How excited are you now? How comfortable are you now moving in? You haven't even hit the draft yet. But how excited and comfortable are you moving into this 2025 season with just the stuff we got in trades and illegal tampering period? So we're going to talk to my man Zack Pearson on the other side of a quick break. So don't go anywhere, folks. Keep it locked right here. Shawn Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago.
Hey, it's your boy, the SuperBack, Shawn Sierra, and be sure to follow Sports Zone Chicago on all social media platforms, on Facebook, Instagram, and our Roku channel. You can find us at Sports Zone Chicago, and on Twitter, we are at Sports Zone Shy. Also, be sure to download our mobile app so you can take Sports Zone Chicago with you on the go.
Time out. How are you feeling right now? Happy? Excited? Angry? Overwhelmed? One of the best things you can do for your mind health is to name what you're feeling. It can sharpen your awareness and help you talk about your feelings with someone you trust. Here are 3 questions to ask yourself. Where are your thoughts right now? In the past, the present, the future? Do you notice any sensations in your body? Is your heart beating fast? Is there a flutter in your stomach? Or are you fully relaxed? What do you need right now? Time with others? Time to yourself? Remember, there's power in this awareness. So find ways to identify what you're feeling today.
Hi, guys. Hey. Hi, Megan. Hey, Jessica. Megan, you're a tramp. Brian Fitch told me you guys made out. Everybody knows. He said your breath smells like garbage. And he almost puked. He says you're the most desperate girl he knows, besides your mom. How many boyfriends does she have anyway? Lots? Your makeup makes you look like a clown. That zit is huge, zit face.
Takes the fake with an end around. Here comes Pickens. That thing is covered well. There's nowhere to go. He's surrounded and dropped back at the 40-yard line. Welcome back, Grady.
Can the leash off a little bit and let Justin Fields throw the ball downfield.
Typically that's been to Pickens. Let's see here. He's in trouble. He is sacked.
Those are the 2 guys that they have high hopes for. Adding Matthew Judon, trading him for a 3rd-round pick from New England, and of course Grady Jarrett coming back from injury.
Barkley, well played. Grady Jarrett.
This is how we've been excited to see come back to his game. You see that quickness that he has, an ability to use his hands and get away from the offensive lineman. Coming off that ACL week 8 last year against Tennessee into that backfield, and he said he's down, but just good quickness that time.
Welcome back to Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago, ESPN, and Prime. It's Grady Jarrett. That one was the biggest surprise of the day for me on Monday. I was just, don't get me wrong, pleasantly surprised. But the biggest one, he just got released, and the Bears were there. And you know what? As much as I give Ryan Poles shit, all right, I got to give him his flowers, because you have people whose job it is to understand who's probably going to be a cap casualty. You got to go around your different teams in the league, all the teams in the league, say, all right, who's going to be most likely going to be a cap casualty, and which ones do we want? Dude, it didn't take long at all. 4 or 5 hours later, the deal was signed, the agreement was made. Impressive. So again, hats off to you, Ryan Poles. If I'm gonna give you shit, I gotta give you praise when you deserve it. And you deserve it. You and your squad, you and your team did a phenomenal job of getting on Grady Jarrett. You were on him beforehand, but man, you're on that. You're on it, doggone, and I love it. My next guest is a good friend of the program. Works for BearReport.com. And I'm excited to talk to him about this and all the other moves that the Bears made up to this point. You can find him on Twitter at Zack_Pearson. Guys, welcome back to Shawn and Maya. Zack Pearson. Zack, what's up, buddy? How are you?
Doing good. Free agency's calmed down for a little bit here, so that's kind of nice. But yeah, it was a busy Monday, and now today the ink can officially get to paper for these free agents.
Yes, today is the beginning of the league year. I wonder if today they get their $400 million. This is just a question. I don't know.
Yeah, today is today's the league year day. Yep, that's when it all becomes official, and off we go.
So we can sign these guys. We just got a $400 million from our operating expenses, the NFL's operating expenses last year. We're in a good place. Talk to me. That was one of the worst kept secrets, and we were hoping is the Drew Dahlman situation. Talk to me. How happy are you with that signing? You go with the number, and then talk to me about the Grady Jarrett thing. Was that even on your radar? And how excited are you or happy about that particular signing?
Yeah, I obviously Dahlman was the one that was pretty much the worst kept secret for a few days there, with literally everyone kind of connecting him to the Bears. It made sense. They needed a center. They needed to upgrade the interior offensive line. And they got, the top center on the market. They got a guy who, has been really good in run blocking, pretty solid in pass protection, and kind of solidifies that interior offensive line. So really wasn't surprised. I guess I'd be a little more surprised. I probably would say I was surprised it didn't happen sooner. I thought it probably would have been like one of the first signings of the day, like right away. But it still was
12:03 a.m.
Yeah, right. Yeah, this one was still within the hour. But yeah, Grady Jarrett. Yeah, I mean that was a surprise one for me, just because he was released that day, hours before everything started. And he was a guy that, the Bears were going to try and add depth on the defensive line. Jonathan Allen was an option for them before he went to, Minnesota. And once Grady Jarrett got available on the market, I mean, the Bears just kind of pounced. They moved right away, got in contact with his agent when it was time to tamper, and got the deal done. So, yeah, I like it. I think, if anything, while Jarrett's still, 32, 33 years old, might not be in his prime anymore, but he's still a veteran presence that you kind of need. And the Bears have been kind of missing that on both sides of the line.
And he's a leader. That's the most important thing. He's a leader. All right. You want leaders to be on your offensive and defensive lines. And that dude, and he's a baller. Yeah. That's the awesome part. He's a baller and he's a leader. And I like that fact, because now he's gonna up the intensity in that D-line room. He's going to up the intensity with Billings. Going to up the intensity with Gervon Dexter. Going to up the intensity with Montez Sweat. Going to up the intensity with Mayo, the other guy that they signed. I like that he's going to hold him to a standard, because the standard that this guy plays at is a pretty high standard. He was a monster, all-pro, Pro Bowler. This guy was a stud in his time in Atlanta. And I know he's not going to be a three-down lineman, but he's going to be used situationally, especially in passing situations or third down. This guy is going to provide us with a lot of excitement, and I think the collateral damage is going to be there's going to be a lot of other guys on the defensive line who up their game as well, and that's what really got me excited, Zach.
Yeah, I mean, now you have some possibilities on the defensive line. You know, Dennis Allen has some options. Will you probably see Andrew Billings and Jarrett on the line at the same time? You know,
Yeah,
you
you
can
will.
see him and Billings and Gervon on the line at the same time. You can maybe move Gervon Dexter to the defensive end spot on a couple snaps if you want to. You can mix Dexter with Billings, Dexter with Jarrett. It's a lot of options now. For Dennis Allen, and that's a good thing. And I'm curious to kind of see, you know, how he shifts those rotations in. But yeah, it also, you know, it benefits a guy like Zack Pickens, who has not really had the career that the Bears have hoped for since they took him in the draft a couple years ago. And you know, maybe helps his development, helps someone like Byron Cowart, who was brought in last year, who, you know, had a couple sacks when Andrew Billings went down. Something like that. So yeah, it provides a lot of value. And you know, yeah, the contract numbers are starting to come out, and there's going to be, you know, some overreaction to that. But at the same time, I mean, it's just that is what it is now in free agency. You're going to overpay for people. It's just how you structure the contracts, how the cap hits impact you, where can you move money. So yeah, no, I loved the Grady Jarrett move. I thought it was probably my favorite move of the day.
You and me both. Because that, to me, that really opened up what they can do now in the draft. Let's switch to that thing. What do you think they're going to do now? Because they literally can go, even if they want to draft Ashton Jeanty, which I hope they don't, even if they wanted to, that conversation's back on the table. You shored up the front three, you shored up your offensive line, you shored up your defensive line. Talk to me about what you think the Bears are going to do at number 10. Stay there, offensive lineman, defensive lineman, running back, or trade back.
Yeah, I mean, they have options now. Like,
yeah.
They should not, like, signing an offensive lineman, trading signing an offensive lineman, trading for 2 offensive linemen, signing a defensive lineman should not rule out them drafting the trenches again. Like, they absolutely, if Will Campbell's their top player, they should take him. If Michael Williams of Georgia's their top player, they should take him. James Pierce Jr. out of Tennessee, the edge, they should take him. Kelvin Banks, they should take anyone that they essentially want now. Obviously, you know, I'd be a little more on the negative side if they drafted someone like Tyler Warren at tight end. I just think it's too high at 10. I think you could still build on the trenches. You know, you could still kind of find another position of need. Jeanty's obviously the one that everyone is kind of going nuts over and saying, you know, okay, they've solidified the trenches. Now let's go get another running back. Honestly, I love Jeanty. It's such a strong running back class, though, that I think you might be able to even trade back, or in the second round, you might be able to get one of the Ohio State running backs. I don't think the North Carolina kid will be there, Amarian Hampton. I think he's probably going to be at the end of the first round. Caleb Johnson out of Iowa probably should be there in the second round. And here's the thing. Will Jeanty even be there at 10? Like, Oakland needs a running back. They could go after, I mean, other teams could take them. So what I think is still going to happen, I think it's going to be an offensive lineman. I think if it's Will Campbell, I think he'll be the pick if he's there. And if he's not there, I think it's going to be one of those kind of raw edge guys that's, you know, Michael Williams, James Pierce Jr., Shamar Stewart, if any of those 3 are there. So I know it gave you kind of a wide range of players, but it's just the draft this year is so many questions up front, you know, with 1 through 4 or 5. And now, you know, even Adam Schefter said at 10, you could get a player in the 30s that you could have probably got at 10, essentially, if the board kind of falls. Just because of the talent. I mean, there's no surefire thing at all in this draft. Like last year, I mean, look, we knew it was Caleb Williams, Jane Daniels, Drake May. You knew those 3 were going to go in the first 3. Then you knew it was probably going to be a wide receiver or 2 after. So it's really not like that this year. So I think that kind of benefits the Bears because it gives them more options to attack those needs. So I still think trenches. I'd be, you know, shocked if it wasn't trenches. I'd be more shocked if it was a tight end. I can even see, like, you know, Will Johnson, the defensive back, being in play at 10. I wouldn't go that route, but I could see him being in play there too.
I agree with you, man, completely. Give me some more help. If you got Will Campbell from Banks, all right, give me that, because we have, and for the reasons you stated, deep running back class. All right, I I've been on an apology tour, man. DeAndre Swift, all right, he was a lot better between the tackles than I gave him credit for. A lot better. All right, a lot of his runs, and yeah, he had outside zones and things like that where he scored, great. But he also had zones. He also had inside handoffs, gap plays, where he shakes the linebacker, hurdles the linebacker, and keeps going. All right, his run between the tackles was something that I did not expect from him. So I really think that you short up that interior. If you want to go, you still go get Hogs. You can get you talked about the other good running backs. I do like Omarion Hampton from Carolina, but he probably won't be there. Judkins, Travion Henderson, Caleb Johnson, the kid. There's another kid from RJ Harvey from UCF. He's another one. There's quite a few, and I think the Bears are in a good spot. I personally don't want to take Jensen. I'm not as high on him as everybody is. His lateral movement isn't what I would like. His top end speed isn't what I would like for someone to take at 10. His balance is amazing. Don't hit him up top and expect him to fall over. That's not happening. That ain't happening. Excuse me. I hope that they continue to invest in that offensive line, because one is going to be, I shouldn't say cheap, but you know how much this guy's going to cost you for the next 5 years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's what give me offensive or defensive line. If you like Pierce or somebody.
Yep. And I'm with you. But the thing that I keep going back to as well is, if you look at what Ryan Poles said at the combine, they want competition at left tackle. And, Braxton Jones has been a fun story. He's been a serviceable. He's been out there. You can rely on him. He doesn't miss a lot of games besides the injury he just had. At the same time, though, we have to eventually get past the point of, well, he's good for a 4th or 5th round pick, wherever he was selected. Like, oh, he's been playing good for that. Yeah, but I want an anchor at left tackle. I want an all-pro, a Pro Bowl, or a consistent guy to protect my quarterback. Eventually, you have to get that. So where's that competition going to come from? Do you really trust Kieran Amagaji? I mean, he was kind of in a raw deal last year where they drafted him hurt. Yeah, they drafted him hurt. And once if you miss training camp, you're already behind the ball on everything. It's going to take forever to catch up. And we saw that. He was thrown into the fire late in the games, and he was getting absolutely worked. And, part of me kind of felt bad for him, because it's like, he really should not be out there right now. But this is what happens. So, yeah, I would not be comfortable. I'll say this. I'd be more comfortable if they went out and got a left tackle. I don't know if Will Campbell is going to play left tackle at the next level. They can at least try it. Banks can. Simmons can. The kid from Missouri can. I would be a lot more comfortable with the left tackle situation, adding a rookie to kind of come in and compete. Because again, nothing against Braxton Jones, but we got to stop. We got to get past the point where it's like, he's playing fine for a 5th round pick. Yeah, I need an anchor on that left tackle. They may not need to find a Penei Sewell, but give me something that's close. You know what I mean? Like, give me something, because if you could pair him with Braxton Jones on those edges for 5, 6, 7 more years, and then you got Drew Dahlman, maybe you take another young guard at left guard when Tooney leaves. He can kind of sit and learn behind him. I think you're set. And same thing with right guard. I'd still like to see them get a little younger at both guards for the future. I'm fine this year with them, but for the future, get a little younger there too. So I still think, and defensive line too, like Montez Sweat's not going to be here forever, ever. He's been here for a long time. And you still, even with the recent signing, you still have a little bit of question mark with the pass rush. Go out and get a young guy with some traits that can kind of come in and develop as well.
Yeah, guys, we're joined by Zack Pearson from BearReport.com, talking Bears football here on Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago. Yeah, I agree. You just cannot get too many, and that because you cannot get too many talented players. Yeah. All right, give me guys like you said. Now you can go get a guy in the 2nd round who might not be ready, but Shawn was good at the last level. But he can with some development, and then you got 2 good guards. I want those guards. I'm okay. And truth be told, I'm okay. And what real Bear fans said, well, first that Braxton's fine for this year. Then he said I'd still take a left tackle if we trade back. But anyway, I'm okay. If I had to stay with Braxton Jones, I'm okay with him for 1 more year. I'm okay with it. I'd rather not, but I'm okay with it. I'm not gonna. But man, give me some guys behind those guards. Give me some guys. Give me some guys who in about 2 years, in 26, 27, they're gonna step up, and it's gonna be seamless. The transition from this O-line to that O-line, because that's what good teams do. Look at Philly. All right, Lane Johnson, and then who was the guy that the Bears had? The big left tackle.
When was it?
A couple years ago, they had the big left tackle who played tight end. He started off as a tight end in his career.
Yeah, I know you're talking about.
Yeah, and then they
God. Yeah, are you talking Charles Leno?
No. No, he was a mammoth dude for the Eagles, a left tackle. Jason Peters, thank you, Black Diamond.
Yes,
Peters, thank you, Black Diamond. Jason Peters, then Lane Johnson takes over. All right, then Kelsey, leaves, and now they got the other guy, this new guy. I love it. That's what you need to do. That's what this Bears team needs to do. You can get, if you're happy with quarterback, you go to the quarterback. You can get running backs. Running backs are a dime a dozen.
Yeah.
All right, you got wide receivers. Continue to build and fortify the offensive and defensive line, because that's what's going to sustain you. Because it doesn't matter who's at running back. It really doesn't. There's so many good ones. And if you don't have a good offensive line, it doesn't really matter unless you're Barry Sanders. And ain't no Barry Sanders in this draft or in the NFL at this particular point.
And there's going to be running backs down the line too. Every year we're talking about. I mean, I hate to throw the word out generational, and I think Ashton Jeanty is going to be really damn good. We said generational about Bijan Robinson. Saquon Barkley's probably the last back that actually has kind of lived up to that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Ezekiel Elliott was generational too. And he had 3 to 4 really good years. And, running backs, a lot of wear and tear. There's always ones that come up. I mean, they're churning them out of college like crazy. A lot of colleges use 2 to 3 running backs, at a time in their offenses. It's evolving, it's changing. And like I said, you could find more running backs. And I like Jeanty. I watched him a lot. I still think Amarian Hampton could be just as good at the NFL level. Honestly, I'd probably prefer him later on if he fell rather than taking a running back at 10. I'm not going to get mad at Jeanty though. I could definitely see it. To me though, that still feels more like a luxury pick in a way. Yeah. And we saw what luxury picks did last year. I mean, Troy Taylor had a fantastic year. You don't want him punting that much, obviously. And I'm not saying the pick was wrong, but it was a pick where you felt like, okay, we could trade up or we can get a punter here where we still have other needs. Kieran was a luxury pick. You're taking a kid with an injury out of, an Ivy League school.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of felt like it felt like picks like we were saying the Eagles would make, the Chiefs would make, because they can afford that. Jeanty would be a Ben Johnson pick. 100% would be 100% a Ben Johnson pick.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know I hope Ben Johnson doesn't make that decision or doesn't influence that way.
Yeah.
But again, he seems to be smart, and he seems to understand that all these guys, they address the offensive line. That was the biggest issue. They got them. They got their. So now I hope it continues to say, hey, let's continue to build there and go there. Talk to me. I want to hear your thoughts on where you think Caleb can go this year. All right, Caleb this guy's going to be here for a minute. All right, I'm talking Ben Johnson. He's going to be here for a minute. And the most important thing is this offense is going to be built specifically, custom tailor-made. I said it on Monday. They're going to take out the measuring tape here. We'll see your chest, your arm, your neck, everything custom made for him.
Yeah.
How well do you think Caleb does in his first season? Obviously, we know there's going to be some growing pains and learning the new offense. But how well do you think Caleb comes out, and how well do you think he plays this year?
And I'll preface this by saying this is not in any way negative. This is not a negative thing about Caleb Williams or anything. All the moves the Bears have made, all the moves they're going to make in the draft are going to be solely based on we're building around our young quarterback, our franchise guy, but we still need him to take the next step. He's got to take that next step this year. If he doesn't, Bears could be in a little bit of trouble. We saw flashes last year of what he could do. We saw some rookie mistakes. He was sacked, 68 times? Not all on him, not all on the offensive line. There were some on him, though. held the ball a little too long at times. Got to kind of get rid of it. And I think as the season went on, especially in that Green Bay game, I feel like we kind of saw that a little more of him getting rid of it quicker, kind of having that internal clock in his head, knowing when I got to get rid of the football, what's there, what's not there, where my routes are, kind of freestyling a little bit. That last play to DJ Moore when they communicated before the play and he saw he had the coverage over the middle. That's all positives. And I think Caleb's got every physical tool. I think he's going to be fine. I think he's going to be good. But if he doesn't take that next step, it's going to set this back a little bit. So the good news is he's a hard worker. We can't, we could throw away everything that was said last year about him. I still don't know why it was said, but he's a hard worker. He's already working. He's going to spend the offseason together with some teammates, some wide receivers. And he's got Ben Johnson now. And he doesn't have coaching hampering him again. And I think last year when you look at the Bears, the biggest issues I would say is coaching was number one. The play of the interior line was number two. And then you go on a list of other things. Those two things are now fixed, in my opinion. The top two things are now fixed. So Caleb has every, I don't want to say like advantage, but every tool now to kind of help him succeed in year two. And it should look a lot cleaner, especially if they bring back Keenan Allen. You get another year with him, you kind of understand it. I felt like that connection never really blossomed. Yeah. And at the time I thought, okay, maybe it's a little bit of Keenan and Caleb not really working well together, stuff like that. But now you kind of see what's going on with the offensive coordinator and, Shane Waldron, the stuff that players were saying out in public. You kind of see why the offense wasn't clicking. So I think Caleb's going to take it to that next level. Like I said, I think he's got all the tools. And
there's no excuses, Zach. There's no more excuses. There's no more. Yeah. There's nothing else. All right. The Caleb call.
Yeah. The only excuse there could be for next season is I'm not going to, if he got hurt, and hopefully he doesn't get hurt, but that'd be the only thing you could say because everything is in his favor now. Everything's in the offense's favor now. Yeah.
And, the Caleb Colts, they were like, well, he had to have a good offensive line. He had a bad offensive coordinator. And it's interesting. And, the reasons for him, but excuses for previous quarterbacks. I'm like, look, I'm not a Caleb's a generational quarterback type of guy. I don't believe that at all. I think he's the furthest thing. I think he can be great. And you don't need a generational quarterback. Jalen Hurts just showed you don't need a generational quarterback to win a Super Bowl. And I think hopefully for Caleb, the one thing that I really want him to do, I want him to play better in structure. I want him to hit those open receivers. When the pocket's clean, I don't want him overshooting or undershooting receivers who are coming across the middle or hitting them or missing them in the soft spot in cover two. He needs to do well in structure. We've seen him do great out of structure. When a play breaks down, he's rolling to his right or his left. We've seen great stuff there. But I need to see the fundamentals is what I need to see, Zach. I need to see him be fundamentally sound and take a 5-yard check down. I need to see a nice curl route. I need to see a nice dig, and he zips it in there on a consistent basis. And that's what he hasn't done. He didn't do a lot last year. He was very inconsistent with that. And that's where if he steps up and he becomes consistent, and hopefully Ben Johnson is the guy that gets him there. If he does that, holy shit, Zach, the sky is truly the limit for this young man and this team.
Yeah, and I think those are valid concerns. I would have those concerns with me too. I think, there were times where that clock in his head, he didn't really recognize it and was holding it too long. I think there were times where he had guys, coming across the middle, check downs he didn't take, which is, obviously something you got to improve on. I'm curious how much of that was the coaching dysfunction too. I don't think we can say it was all coaching. I don't think we can say it's all Caleb. I just know, I remember sitting in training camp and watching, okay, I've seen this before the past couple years, probably going back to 6-7 years with the Bears. The offense just never dominates practices, like training camp practices. And when they do, it's usually the 1-on-1s or the 7-on-7, but you should dominate 7-on-7. 7-on-7, the ball should not touch the ground at all. In a weird way, I'd almost rather have an interception than the ball hitting the ground in 7-on-7. because it's designed for the offense to win. 11 on 11, they never really dominated. So I wonder how much of it is like coaching with Eberflus, how much he put in with Shane Waldron, the dysfunction of kind of what was going on. Because like I said, we learned when you got Keenan Allen saying stuff, Mercedes Lewis, those guys got 30 years of NFL experience combined.
Man,
They've seen a lot. And when they were talking about Shane Waldron and people not being held accountable, it kind of raised some red flags for me. And I think, Ryan Poles even said the communication was not there in training camp as it should have been. That stuff has a lingering effect. And I know there was a report, I want to say it was Taylor Dow of Winnie City Gridiron, who said it was something along the lines of Caleb Williams had to ask for help and film from Shane Waldron, which is, to me, crazy. But we're going to know. We're going to know now this year. Was it coaching? Was it Caleb? Was it both? We'll see. But like you said, there's no excuses. He has to be better. I think he will be better. So we'll have to see, because he's got everything now. He's got Ben Johnson. He's got guys coming here to want to play with him, and coach him, which is fantastic.
Yeah. And I don't know about all those reports, where he said he had to, where you mentioned, remember he said he had to ask for help, or that they didn't even do film study. Like, I don't buy that. That's your job. That's your job.
I think I agree with that. I think he was doing the film. What I think happened was, and I don't know much about this. I'm not sourcing reporting anything here. What I think happened was they're probably doing their film. I've never been on a football team. I have no idea how it works. I have a general sense of how it works. I think they were doing the film. What I think was probably happening was, okay, I'm seeing this, I'm seeing that, I'm breaking it down, but I want a little more guidance in a way from Shane Waldron, or like, what should I do here? You know what I mean? Kind of that stuff. I don't think it was like, I'm not getting the film or anything. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not, I'm not doing the film. I'm not getting it. I'd be interested. I don't know if we'll ever get it. I'd be interested to get off the record, talking to Shane or talking to Caleb or someone else around what actually happened. And that's not to discredit Taylor's report, because I don't know. I don't know what happened. So we'll see.
No, discredit it. I'm just saying sometimes people put things out there to push an agenda.
Yeah.
And
100%.
I think that's what was happening was that, because that's your job as an offensive coordinator. That's your job is sit down and watch film, break down film with the quarterback, go through it, and when and get you and coach you. Say, hey, listen, this didn't work. Let's do this. This didn't work. Let's do that. This worked well. I'll do this a little more. So something about that was just a little, and I don't know if Caleb's can't put it out or what. Maybe I just don't know. But again,
here's the thing though. If that was happening and Shane wasn't doing that, that's a crazy red flag. You know what I mean? Like
then Eberflus should have been fired.
Oh my God.
Should have been fired because you go in there. I don't give a damn if you can't stand each other.
Yeah.
Right? You better act professional. You just got a $25.5 million signing bonus, Caleb. You work with this dude. I don't care if you like him. Shane Waldron, we brought you in here. This is your job.
Yeah. That's crazy. We heard something similar with Trubisky and Nagy. It wasn't film, but it was Nagy or Trubisky wanted to meet with Nagy after the season. They had like a meeting set up, and like Nagy never showed up or something. Yeah. So this is nothing new to us. Like, nothing surprises me. Nothing would surprise me at all. So yeah, like when I say, like, if that was really happening, oh my God, like that is absolutely crazy. But at the same time,
we've seen crazy.
Yeah, it's nothing where I'm like, oh my, like, wow, this is earth shattering. Like we've seen it before, but bottom line, like we both said here, there's no excuses. You have to get better. You got all the tools in place. You have to get better.
Let me ask you another one then. Do you have a problem with Caleb not running? And I want to preface it by saying I'm not saying run 70 yards like Justin Fields did. I'm not saying that. I'm saying run to one, keep us out of long distances, keep us from being behind the sticks, and two, all right, to live to play another down. All right, it hurts the defense when you got great. It could be a coverage sack, but the quarterback gets out, gets 5 yards, or gets a first down, and that emotionally, psychologically does a number on you. It erodes your confidence when shit like that happens. Do you think he should do more of that?
Yeah, I mean, I can live with him forcing throws time to time. It just can't be consistent. So I would prefer, like you're saying, keep the drives alive, running. I think we're also and I know you're not comparing it to Justin Fields. I think we were spoiled with Justin Fields in terms of the
Big
running
time.
aspect, where you could see, like, if it breaks down, Justin really wasn't throwing it away. He was just going to run. Caleb, you probably want him to throw it away if it's not there, if he can't run. If he's got 2 blitzers coming in his face and he can't get away, throw the ball away or tuck it and just take the sack. Whereas, Justin would try to escape and I'd say more often than not would get away and pick up yards or, get back to the line of scrimmage. So, yeah, I mean, I think Caleb should run a little bit more. I do think he's got to work on that internal clock. Like, is it there? Is it not there? If I get to my third read and I look back at my first and he's not there, like, I got to know when to get rid of it. I got to know when to run. I will say, though, like, we've seen it a couple times. This has not been as consistent, I'd say, as you'd want it.
And that's what I want. That's what I was asking you, because it demoralizes the defense when you got perfect coverage. You got the perfect coverage for this particular play, and they still get a first down because you ran. You got 5.5 when you needed 5. And you're like, son of a bitch. That emotionally takes a toll on you. And that's the thing. My question to you, one other question for you is this. Are you putting any numbers on Caleb? Because I had an argument, and I was pretty livid with this on Monday. Everybody's worried about numbers. Well, Caleb's going to be a 4,000-yard pass. He's going to have 30 touchdowns. He's going to have this. He's going to have that. He's going to have this. And I said, I couldn't give a rat's ass if Caleb hits 4,000 yards. I said, and I said, and I asked a friend of mine, I said, he and I had this discussion. He's a big Caleb guy. I said, let me ask you a question. I said, if Caleb has a year that Jalen Hurts had and they win the Super Bowl, or what if he has a couple of those years and they win a couple Super Bowls, but he never hits 4,000 yards? Are you okay with it? It's not about the numbers.
No.
It's about winning. And I hope, and Caleb said that. He said it multiple times. I don't care about the numbers. Would you still want him to hit that 4,000 yard? Is that important to you?
The only reason why I'd want him to hit is so those stupid accounts can stop tweeting that graphic of the Bears the only franchise not to have. It means nothing to me. I look at Jaden Daniels last year. How many games did Jaden Daniels have 100 or have 300 yards passing in his rookie year? I think he had one. I think he had one game. And you know what game that was?
Us?
Yeah, it was the Bears on the Hail Mary at the end.
Oh, the Hail Mary, yeah.
That's how he got the 300 passing yards. Now, if you were to ask Jaden Daniels, because Caleb Williams had what? I think he had, I'm trying to look it up right now, but I think he had 3 or 4 300 passing yard games, which are fine. They're great. I mean, to me, it's like, that's like the icing on the cake. Great. If he can have it, have it. But if he's consistent, not turning the ball over, completing 70% or more of his, attempts, I'd rather take that than having the 4,000. I just don't think the 4,000 to me is it's just a number. It's a bonus. Like, if he hits it, great. If they're winning and he's got 3,000 passing yards and let's say 26, 27 touchdowns and 7 interceptions, I'd take that in a heartbeat. Right? I would take that in an absolute heartbeat. The numbers to me, and Caleb said it himself, the numbers just don't matter to him. So
he did say that because my job is to win, not to impress you guys. He did say that.
I mean, there is, a little bit of a difference though. Like if he's throwing for 120 yards and completing 50% of his passes, then there's definitely some issues there.
Real Bears fans says problem is Bears are not Philly yet, so he has to hit those numbers or they won't be winning games, in my opinion. No, I disagree, bro. I'm like, because you just showed up that offensive line. And you can look at Philly, they lead down the run game. You look at Detroit, when they led the NFL in they're the number 1 offense in the NFL. What do? It wasn't about the pass, it was about the run. So they upgraded the offensive line. This offense should be run centered. Okay, and then let Caleb do what he does when you need him. And so no, they're not Philly, but they've really upgraded their offensive line to be one. They went from who was it? It was Dan Orlovsky said they were from a bottom 10 offensive line to a top 10 offensive line. And I agree, especially if you upgrade and get Will Campbell or Calvin Banks in a left tackle, especially if you get someone like that. And not, they're going to run. So what that means. If they do that, they're going to get a running back later in the draft, and they're going to run the hell out of the ball. So no, I don't think you don't need to have him throw. And that's the one thing, Zach, that bugged me. Remember last year when all they talked about was, well, we threw the whole book at him. We threw the whole book at him. It's not how you teach. You don't say read this whole book. You don't say read this whole book and you got a test on it. 500-page book. You got a test on it tomorrow. Right? You read a chapter, then 2 chapters, then 3 chapters, then the next chapter. It's like, the old say, you eat it like a steak. You don't take the steak and put it in your mouth. You cut it up piece by piece. You improve gradually. And I think Ben Johnson's smart enough to know that, because if he does that with Caleb, and he says, okay, here's the base of this new offense is being built around you. Here's the base. We'll build on it. In 2 weeks, we'll do more shit. I'll add something else. In 3 weeks, I'm going to add another formation. In 4 weeks, I'm going to add this. Because don't forget, they get the extra week because they got a new coaching staff.
Yeah.
So if he does that, then this should be really really fun, because you give it to him in digestible pieces where he doesn't have to remember the whole freaking offense or to failure. It's little by little by little, and that should make Caleb an extremely dangerous young man quarterback this year.
Yeah, I agree. I think the coaching's better. I think Caleb will be fine. I'm a big Caleb fan. I think he'll be fine. I think he'll get better. I think the offense will be better, hopefully. So yeah. I just, I don't want this. The Bears are always crowned the winners of the offseason. That is, to me,
3-4 years in a row.
Yeah, and to me, it's like I want to be the winners of September through February. It's a lot more fun that way.
Ain't that the truth, man? I'm telling you. Hey, Zach, great stuff, buddy. I appreciate it. Appreciate your time today. Do me a favor, though, before you go, let everyone know where they can find you and your work online.
Yeah, you can follow me on Twitter X at Zack, ZACK_Pearson. You can follow the Bear Report at Bear Report on Twitter X. We're on YouTube. Homepage is bearreport.com. A lot of stuff for free agency and all that good stuff. Continuing on this week, and then we ramp up into the draft coverage. So it's a really, really, really busy time.
It really is. The NFL never sleeps. Were you able to make it down to the combine?
Yeah. I was there for a few days. Had a little help this year, so that was kind of nice. But and the combine's also, that's a great time. So yeah, that was good. And now it's free agency, and now we're hitting the draft and then practices. So it's crazy.
Yeah. OTAs and minis, and yeah. I didn't get a chance to get down there, but I that's what I'm probably going to try and get down there starting next year.
Yeah, it's a fun time. It's a good time.
I'm looking forward to it, man. I'm looking forward to it. Again, great stuff, buddy. I appreciate it. We'll talk soon.
Thanks, man. Take it easy.
Thank you. Guys, that's Zack Pearson from BearReport.com. God, I love talking to him, man. Love talking to him. Because realistic point of view, realistic perspective. He doesn't, no grandiose predictions or evaluations, positive or negative. You know what I mean? I like his very practical approach. Man, one of my guys. I'm glad we connected, and then we met up. And it's funny because where did I meet him? Bourbonnais. I think the last year in Bourbonnais is when I met him. And he's like 6'2", 6'3". I was like, oh shit. Like, I didn't know you're that tall, dude. Because I'm only 5'11". But he seems taller because he's got long legs. I was like, damn, dude, you're a big ass dude. But I'm excited. About, and you should be too. Remember, I told you, stay present, stay in the moment. All right, enjoy what the Bears have done. All right, let's not worry about, the Bears are the winner of the offseason. Don't worry. Enjoy what they've done. Why does everything have to have a name or label? because people fishing for clicks. Okay? No, the Bears, here's the crazy part. Here's the crazy part. The Bears did what they were supposed to do to help themselves. They saw their weaknesses with the help of Ben Johnson, who knew their weaknesses from preparing to play against them twice a year for the last 3 or 4 years. So you knew the weaknesses because you schemed against them. And they addressed them. And they addressed them. Like a real organization. I believe the way that they attacked free agency, the way they made trades, Black Diamond said it, they're making moves like a real organization, like an organization that gives a shit about winning. Yeah, that's what they were doing. That's what they did this offseason to this point. And I am pleasantly surprised. I love it. Because we've seen the opposite so many times. We've seen the opposite. We've seen them cut corners. We've seen them get bargain basement or Temu players and say we have depth. Well, yeah, you got depth. You don't have quality depth. We've seen them do it multiple occasions. And this year's different. Ben Johnson has a big part to do with it. I think Kevin Warren had a big part to do with it. And I'm happy. Stop scrimping. Stop being cheap. You just got a $400 million payday, Bears. That's how much you made this past season. After all operating expenses, your profit this year, every team was about $400 million. $400 million plus. Stop being cheap. Pay people what they're worth, and people will come. They will do their job with excitement. But damn, what did it take, 100 years? Yeah, Black Diamond. It did. Over 100 years. But they've spent money before. It was just poorly spent. Remember the Brian Cox situation? Musa Muhammad situation. Paid Jay Cutler money. John Tate, left tackle. That was money well spent. That was money very well spent. So it's not like they're not spending. They just spend it in the wrong places. And now you got football people in football positions making football decisions. And that's and they're sound decisions. Because there's so many times, how many times did we say they need this and they didn't address it? They need that and they didn't address it. They need that. They go get some guy off of Temu or, you know what I mean? No. Go get guys who can help you win. And this is what the Bears are doing. So I'm excited about what's happened to this point. I'm excited about what's going to happen in the draft. I'm excited about this season. And you should be too. Because these boys are going to make some noise. And like I told you, I'm more excited for 2026. Don't get me wrong. I'm present. I'm going to be present in 2025. I'm going to be present and enjoy the highs and the lows of our Bears team in 2025. But 2026, man. You know, Ben Johnson's here for 4 or 5 years? And how great would it be when you go into OTAs and mini camp, you don't have to learn a system. Everybody knows the system. That's when you can have a good time. Look at the Detroit Lions. Look what Ben Johnson did in his last stop. Look what he did. Hopefully he does that here. They have put themselves in a good position. Hope Ben Johnson is the real deal. I'm praying that he is. Okay? I'm praying that he is, because if he is, as I said earlier, and he takes Caleb and develops him, the limit, Caleb and the Chicago Bears team is through the roof. Through the freaking roof. The defense, they addressed that as well. John Madden said it best. The NFL is just better when the Bears are good. And that's the truth. The Charter franchise would be a perennial powerhouse. It's great for the league. So I'm anxious to see these guys get on the field together. All right, when OTAs start, I'm talking the offensive line. I'm anxious to see those guys. I'm anxious to see Caleb behind that offensive line. And I'm anxious to see Grady Jarrett trying to get to Caleb at practice. I want to see it. All right, we got a stud 3-tech. We got 2 highly paid guards. You talk about iron sharpening iron. You got a guy who's done it for a decade in Grady Jarrett. Now we got some youngsters. You're gonna have to stop Grady Jarrett because there's a whole bunch of other people in the NFL who can attack who can attack on defense like Grady Jarrett. So if you practice against him and you're able to hold him, that's a good sign. That's a great sign. So they're gonna have some battles in practice. All right, Tooney, KG Vet, Josh Jackson, Jonah Jackson. They're gonna have their work. They're gonna have the work cut out for them in practice every day. And to me, that's what excites me. Iron sharpening iron. Because if you don't think Grady Jarrett is going to make those guys better, you're nuts. You are nuts. Having to go up against this guy every single day. And that's where they get better. That's where they start to dominate. That's where they start to feel themselves and they get to gel. Because you're going to have every team's going to have a guy. Hell, Jonathan Allen just went up to Minnesota. All right, we got to face him twice a year. So we got to make sure that we can handle a stud defensive tackle. We got to make sure we can handle that. And with this in practice, Grady Jarrett in practice every day, there's no better way to prepare for the season than having that joker on the other side of you and you're a guard and center. Both guard and center, because it's going to be, you don't know when the strength's going to be. It could be over the left guard, it could be over the right guard. So, I'm fired up about it. Hope you guys are too. Let's stay in the moment. Let's see. When are they going to, I don't remember. I heard them say, I missed it on the radio. They talked about they're going to have those guys at Hallis Hall, and I didn't catch the day, if it's today or tomorrow. And they're going to have those guys at Hallis Hall to sign a contract. I would assume it's today, since you can actually put pen to paper and sign those contracts as being the first day of the calendar year for the league year. So I would assume it's today, maybe tomorrow. But either way, it's going to be. But listen, guys, 2 hours has come and gone. I want to thank my guest, Adam Chalifoux, coming on talking Bulls basketball with us. And I want to thank Zack Pearson for coming on talking Bears football with us. And great stuff. So it's going to be beautiful here in Chicago. It's going to be a high of what, 40, 50 something? Low 50s? Let me see. It's going to be 60 today. High of 60, 59 out here in Oregon. Okay. It's going to be high of 60. Beautiful day. Do me a favor. I say it all the time, and you probably hear it all the time, so it's kind of like white noise. But do me a favor and today, make a point. Send a text or a voice memo. You text it over. Someone, one of your people, one of your family members, one of your friends that you haven't talked to in a while. You just say, hey, man, or, hey, girl. Just checking in. Haven't talked in a while. call me. Let's go grab drinks, grab dinner, whatever. Just do that. All right? Just do that. Let your loved ones know you love them because tomorrow is promised to no one. Can't stress that enough. Okay? Do yourself that favor. All right, this will replay tonight at 6 p.m. Central. All right, so from everyone here at Sports Zone Chicago, guys, I'm your boy, the SuperBack, Shawn Sierra. You have a phenomenal day. I'm glad I was able to make it through the show today. It was crazy with my little frog in my throat. I'm going to go make some tea now and drink it on the way to go pick up the warden. You guys have a wonderful day. I'll see you on Friday. I got Alex Shapiro from Chicago Sports Network. He's coming on Friday. I'm working on one more guest. So he'll be here on Friday. We talked to him yesterday and we solidified it. So we'll be able to talk to Alex on Friday, in addition to probably a Cub guy, so that's when we're talking Cubs. Since they'll be playing in Tokyo. Okay. So again, for everyone here at Sports Zone Chicago, I'm your boy, the SuperBack, Shawn Sierra. I want to say thank you. I appreciate it. Truly do appreciate the love and the support you guys give me. Hit the like button, smash it, tell your friends, tag some people. Let them know it's one of the best Chicago sports podcasts out there. All right? Your boy, the SuperBack. I am